Montana is a crucially important state. If we're going to take the Senate, Tim Sheehy is the hero Republican running against Jon Tester, who's been sitting there forever, and he thinks he represents Boston, Massachusetts. Tim Sheehy, it was only a matter of time till the media would come and try and viciously attack you with information given to them by the opposition party. Are you holding up okay? What do the voters think of all this?
Well, the people of Montana are pretty used to Jon Tester's tactics as they're seeing it now. And this is how he wins every race. You know, he smears his opponents. That's the only way he can win because he's fundamentally unpopular in his policy positions. As you know, he's Chuck Schumer's lapdog in D.C. and doesn't take a vote without his express permission. So when he comes home and plays his two-faced Tester game, people see through it pretty quick. And what we're hearing on the ground is everyone's ready to see Trump in the White House. They're ready for America First agenda. But they also realize that can't get done unless the Senate's there to support Trump when he's there. And unfortunately for Montana, that Senate runs right through our state, and we got to win this race, and we're going to tomorrow.
So the people of Montana, I mean, it's a tough state to poll. It's a tough state to get to the various polls. It's just so big. How's your ground game out there? Is it as good as it can be?
This cycle, it's fantastic. I mean, I'll be honest with you, Mark. Historically, the state Republican Party in decades past has not had much infrastructure. As you know, we used to be a Democrat state for almost a century. So, but what we've seen here in these last 2 years is a fantastic investment in grassroots infrastructure. And we've really been fighting this campaign door to door. The media has been against us since day one, as we knew they would be. We knew Chuck Schumer was going to outspend us 3-1, 5-1, which is what it's been. So we went to the ground game. Every town, every VFW hall, and our ground game as far as door knocking, early voting, ballot harvesting, making sure we're actually getting the votes out is going great right now. We're showing, I think, about 75% of ballots in. We expect, by the time that today's count is up, should be perhaps even over 80%. So early voting's in. It's favoring us. And I got to give a lot of credit to our state party and a lot of national groups, too, who've invested in a tremendous amount of ground game here to put us in the position we're in.
Have these vicious attacks on you, and I was watching CBS, which I almost never do. I don't know what happened. I must have had I don't know. But I watched a little bit, and their coverage of you was horrendous, of course. They had Testers, the good old boy from a town of 600 people. And then, of course, questions came up about your military background. This is kind of par for the course, isn't it?
Yeah, unfortunately, that's been their tactic the entire time. And we've never had a fair shake in the media at any point in this race. You know, most candidates get a honeymoon period where they get a profile piece and, hey, here's what they've done. My wife and I joined the military at 18 years old. She was a Marine Corps officer. I was a Navy SEAL. We both served multiple tours overseas, almost all of mine in combat, hundreds of missions, lost friends, got wounded, and came home and started a company from scratch in our barn. And we created hundreds of jobs, and we fight wildfires. That's our business. It's not like we're making yoga pants. We fight wildfires from the air. We're water bombers. So it's an important mission. We're proud to do it. And along the way, we've been successful. We've donated millions to local charities, improved our hospitals in state. Not because I was running for office, because I wasn't at the time. It was because it was the right thing to do for our growing community. And, unfortunately, every single one of those things I talked about, they've attacked and assaulted. They literally tried to put our company out of business, short-sold our stock, engineered lawsuits against us, went after my charities. And as you see now, smearing my military service. So it's really pretty pathetic. It's par for the course for Jon Tester. It's how he runs every race. But the polls show that we're winning. Tomorrow's polls are the only one that really matters, which is Election Day. But I think people are seeing through this, and frankly, they're sick and tired of watching Jon Tester do this to every opponent. With $150 million of dark money, $200 million of dark money, this is what he does every time, and they're sick of it.
And not only that, he lies about his record. I mean, the man is as radical left in his voting record as anybody from the radical left towns in this country. And people like me, we're not in Montana, we're not from Montana, we look back and say, how the hell does this happen? I mean, this guy...
Well, yeah. And you talk about CBS's coverage. Nobody talks about that Jon Tester takes donations from dead people. Nobody talks about the fact that he was paying female athletes to endorse him because he had to cover up the fact that he voted to let boys play girls' sports. They don't talk about the fact that he's the largest recipient of lobbyist cash of any politician in the nation. Number one. But of course, these all get glossed over by the Washington Post and New York Times and CBS because these are minor details that of course don't have no bearing on the fact that he's a Chuck Schumer rubber stamp.
And they make him like he's a good old boy from a small town. Well, maybe, but he's been a politician his whole damn life, pretty much, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's coming up on 30 years, between state Senate, U.S. Senate. This will be his fourth term in the U.S. Senate. So he's a professional politician. I've never run for anything in my life, not even student council, not county commission, not Congress. This is the first thing I've ever run for. And the only reason I'm running for it, trust me, I don't want to be a senator. It sounds like a terrible job. I'm running because we got to save this country. We can't keep watching this happen. I fought for this country. My wife fought for this country. I'm not going to watch it slip away, and that's why I'm standing up right now. And they're going to try to destroy me for it, but we've been fighting for 18 months now. Went from 0% name ID last year. No one knew who the hell I was. And now the polls show us winning this race. So we're going to keep fighting just like we have for the next 24 hours, and we're going to win tomorrow.
We're talking to Tim Sheehy. Let me tell you something, Montana. Very few states have an opportunity to elect a hero, conservative, somebody who's really going to stand up for the interests of their own state. There's a handful going on in this country right now, and you've got one of them, Tim Sheehy. Jon Tester is the senator from Washington, D.C., by way of Boston and New York City. That's what he is. He does what he's told to do on the East Coast, and that's who he represents. And then he comes back there with friendly media, with tens of millions of dollars, and he lies to you. And you're seeing the same thing with Kamala Harris, aren't you, Tim? I mean, she's lying about herself. She's trying to present herself as this sort of moderate, happy face when she is a radical left-wing bomb thrower and always has been.
Well, I mean, the Democrat Party, the D after the candidate doesn't stand for Democrat anymore. It stands for deception. I mean, they are the party of deception. They want to tell you that boys are girls and girls are boys. They want to tell you that borders are secure when it's very clearly not. They want to call us the threat to democracy when they're the party who's placed a candidate on the top of the most powerful ticket who's never gotten a vote, period. Hasn't run a primary. And now she's at the top of the ticket. They're obviously, we're suing to keep RFK off the ballot. Now they're suing to keep him off the ballot. They've been suing to take Trump off the ballot in battleground states. I mean, the list goes on. They are actively trying to dismantle democracy while saying we're the threat to it. They say we're the violent radical right. Meanwhile, they've tried to kill Trump twice in the last few months. Mm-hmm. And they say, we're the warmongers. Trump's going to start World War III when he was the first president to have no new wars in about 80 years. And under Biden, we've literally been watching the world fall apart around us. So at some point, you have to stand up and say, are we going to keep listening to this drivel? Are we going to keep allowing Kamala Harris and the Democrats to lecture us? Now she's pro-fracking, used to be anti-fracking. So it's the politics of deception, and I think those who stand up and speak truth are going to win.
Tim Sheehy, Kamala Harris will destroy the economy of Montana. She'll destroy the economy of states that rely on agriculture, minerals, ranching. That's what she'll do. She has no connection to them. She doesn't care about them. She comes out of San Francisco. She's demonstrated that she wants to destroy the combustion engine. She's demonstrated that she wants to destroy the ability to produce gasoline and oil. She really opposes mining of any sort. She really is sort of the anti-Montanan, isn't she?
You're absolutely right. I was just last week, the final days of the campaign was down at one of our mines, Spring Creek Mine in southeastern Montana. And I made a point to visit all of our resource industries, and I call it resource industries because we've seen an all-out war on America's resource industries. And we need those industries: timber, fossil fuels, coal, natural gas, copper, lithium. Anything we got to pull out of the ground to keep our economy running. We've seen those industries brutally assaulted under the Obama years and, of course, even worse under the Biden years. And those industries are absolutely critical, not just for states like Montana, but for our nation. We are outsourcing the critical components that power our economy to other continents and other countries, many of whom are not our friends. And Kamala Harris wants to electrify the economy and have us all riding around on scooters here by the end of next week. Well, guess what? Even if that would happen, we need lithium, we need copper, we need minerals to be able to make those electric machines, which we, due to environmental litigation and radical bureaucrats in these agencies appointed by Democrats, we can't do common sense resource extraction. Mm-hmm. We're buying our timber from Canada and Chile. We're, buying our minerals from South America and Africa, even though we have all of it right here. And we can, if we get it from America, we get it with American jobs, with Montana jobs. Mm-hmm. It's safer, it's cleaner, it's better, and we have control over it. So it's about time we reboot our resource industries, and that sure as hell is not going to happen under a Kamala Harris, Jon Tester regime.
I just want the people of Montana to understand Jon Tester will vote with her every step of the way. That's what he does. Then he comes home and he lies about it. He does not represent the best interests of Montana. I can tell you, as somebody who watches this stuff, he simply does not, and he never has. He's power hungry, and he wants to hold on that seat. And I would just suggest you folks in Montana, it's time to broom him out. You have a perfect candidate here, Tim Sheehy. Tomorrow morning is the morning, and so you need to turn out. You need to turn out in big numbers. You need to bring your parents, your grandparents, cousins, your coworkers with you. You need to be the Paul Revere's, and you need to be the Thomas Paines, because it's we the people. Guys like Tim Sheehy, he doesn't need this. Donald Trump sure as hell doesn't need this. These people are fighting for we the people, so we the people have to step up. I wish you all the best, Tim. I really do. God bless you, my friend.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate all the support.
You got it. And thank you for everything you've done for us already, what I hope you will do in the future.